Could the United States have more gold than what is officially reported in our nation's stockpiles? I think it is quite possible. Now I'm going to explain how and why this could be used for revaluation and so much more as we explore. The United States officially holds 8,133 tons of gold under the purview of the U.S. Treasury. However, there is a lot of things that have been happening in the last months that leaves credence to this theory that perhaps some of that gold is being stored away that has come into the United States and other areas outside of the U.S. Treasury, outside of the auditors. And yes, there is an audit done every year, if you want to call it that. It's a very loose one that basically just says that we've got all of the gold that we say we have. But nonetheless, if you take a look at the statements made by the Treasury Secretary, even most recently I did a video about it where he doubts that there's going to be a revaluation done. But that's open for a lot of interpretation. Now, I'm going to tell you more about what is going on and why I think this is happening. But first, we know that recently Trump has exempted gold from tariffs. And he's revealing more than just a trade strategy. He's implicitly affirming gold's unique role as a global store of value, not just another tradable commodity. So if we look to what Scott Bessent said, the Treasury Secretary, in an interview, he made this emphatically clear. Gold has history going for it. Gold can't run a deficit. It can't default. It can't go to war. It's isolated from government failure. That's why people trust it. And he mentioned in his recent interview that I talked about on my channel here that it is a great store of value that they're going to keep. He even admitted that when I had my fund, people would have called me a gold bug. Now I want to tell you about an insider buying frenzy that's unheard of in the gold sector. I dare you to find any company that is accumulating so much shares as the company I'm going to be telling you about now, and that is AXCP Ventures with the ticker GARLF on the US, and it's available on Schwab and Interactive Brokers. Following these mining stocks, I can count on one finger the number of companies where management kept buying stock on the open market month after month. And that's exactly what AXCP Ventures is doing. And in 2025, it's rewriting the rules of insider conviction. So since the start of the year, insiders have purchased over $1.2 million worth of stock. And they're still adding more every week. Today, the stock trades within a cent or two of its all-time low and well below the February financing. In June alone, co-founder Mario Vitro bought 140,000 shares. Tyron Breitenbach bought 100,000 shares. And the vice president of exploration, Blake McLaughlin, added 30,000 shares. And Robert DeBow acquired 300,000 shares, well higher than today's price at about 17 cents Canadian. In July, Mr. Tyron Breitenbach had acquired 250,000 shares, and Mario Vitro had purchased 1 million of those shares. So what's driving this? Well, the Converse gold deposit in Nevada, one of the largest undeveloped gold resources in the U.S., with 5.57 million measured and indicated and 0.42 million ounces inferred at AXCP's GRLF, that's the ticker symbol again, with a current enterprise value of $25 million. The resource is valued at just $5 an ounce, compared to peer averages, $40 an ounce at a discount at 85%. So it's been on the shelf for a decade. And now, with majors facing record low reserves and record high market caps and cash balances, it stands as one of the very few multi-million ounce first world deposits available to replenish senior miner stockpiles. AXCP's insiders are delivering the most powerful statements possible. They're buying more of their own stock than I've seen in years. In mining, location is destiny. That's why AXCP Ventures has a decisive advantage. Its flagship Converse gold deposit sits in Nevada's Battle Mountain Trend, one of the premier gold belts on the planet. That's responsible for 75% of U.S. gold production. This isn't just a great mining state. Nevada is one of the safest, most mining-friendly jurisdictions in the planet. a place where majors already operate some of the most profitable assets. It's the largest gold deposit in Nevada, not already controlled by a senior producer. Now here's where it gets wild. The market is valuing AXCP's 6 million ounces of gold equivalent resource at just $5 per ounce. Comparable projects in similar jurisdictions are valued at $40, meaning AXCP trades at 85% discount to its peers. So to put it into perspective, the cost to drill the 78,000 meters of work already completed in the past by Converse would be about $47 million, not including metallurgy, permitting, engineering, or land holding cost. So let's run through these bullet points I'm going to show you here. Insiders have purchased over $1.2 million of stock in 2025, with large repeated open market buys happening every month. Co-founder Mario Vetro and Tyron Breitenbach own 30 million plus shares together and keep adding more, even at prices above current market. 57% of shares voluntarily locked up by major holders, restricting supply and aligning long-term interest. Converse deposit in Nevada, which is 5.57 million ounces and 0.42 million ounces inferred, the largest undeveloped gold deposit in Nevada, not owned by a major miner. And then the valuation, again, as I mentioned, it's $5 per ounce versus $40 per peer average, which is an 85% discount with takeover potential. Replacement cost of historic drilling alone is $47 million, nearly double AXCP's current enterprise value. Converse economics have been evaluated above $2,000 an ounce gold, and now we know gold is resting above $3,300 an ounce. Nevada's Battle Mountain Trend produces 75% of U.S. gold and is the world's top mining jurisdiction. Majors have recorded record market caps, record cash, but record low reserves, fueling this merger and acquisition demand. Gold sector faces a 17% production decline by 2030, with no 10 million ounce plus discoveries since 2016. And we know about central banks that are buying record volumes of gold, accelerating the bull market. And Stephen Miron joining the Fed could mean policy shifts towards a weaker dollar, highly bullish for gold, and merger and acquisition transaction and comparable Nevada gold projects are happening at $40 per ounce, 8 times of AXCP's current valuation. So with insiders buying millions of shares and the stock trading at all-time lows while advancing its flagship gold asset in Nevada, and everything I told you about valuation disconnect, isn't this one of the great companies that I've featured here on this platform? There's a lot of potential here, but do your own research before making any investment decisions. So with that being said, and Nevada being an important place to go, and the Trump definitely wants mining happening here in the United States, and a lot of gold's been coming into the U.S. Much of it went back after we found out that there's no tariffs on gold, but still, how much of that has maybe been swept up by private buyers or institutions and secretly put into a soon-to-be formed sovereign wealth fund? I think that's probably what's going to happen, and that's going to lead to likely an increase in gold holdings there outside of the official reserves. We've not added a single ounce in years to our 8,133 tons. And so with that, that could be something that is set aside, gold that is there, ready to go. And I think, in a way, we're seeing other nations probably do some of the same, positioning themselves outside of the official reportings that are tracked by the World Gold Council and the like. But nonetheless, China is one of the big players, the second largest economy in the world, a nation to watch. China, indeed, is a nation to keep an eye on as to how much gold they're mining, how much gold they're keeping outside of their official reserves. And I think that is profoundly important to understand that we got to be competitive. And a revaluation that could be coming, even though Besant said, I doubt it, a lot of people don't believe that. And it leaves some wiggle room, especially if they codify some of these bills for revaluation. It's got to be done. And I think if they're going to do it, they're going to go big. And I'm talking about going over 8,133 tons big. Because if we can be on top with AI and other areas and military, if we can be on top with a gold as well, and taking into mind what China is doing and how much gold they could potentially have, well, then we're setting ourselves up to continue to be the largest economy. Because if there's going to be a revaluation of gold, I think that means that we're going to be a shift and a reset of the dollar. In other words, resetting gold's price to some new number will probably be in line with the major currency from which gold is priced. The dollar will probably need to be reset and revalued as well. That's right, the Great Reset. If we have control of it here in the United States and we can do it in the right way, that might be a good thing, and we'll just revalue gold along with it. So gold, it will preserve your wealth no matter what they revalue the dollar to, or whatever they do with the economy, with how they handle things. Gold, you cannot change it for what it is and what it has been for thousands of years. But will the United States prop itself up to be a gold standard economy? It is quite possible that we move in that direction. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but this very well could be the very beginning of it. And with Scott Bessent's latest interview that I just covered on my channel recently, well, this very well could be part of the very beginning of monetizing our assets. And it's not just gold, Bitcoin, or it's not just Bitcoin and oil. We're talking about gold as well. So there you go. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.